committee meetings are starting at 2 o'clock, so let's get rolling. If you'll look at your agenda, you see item House Bill 94 is the first one on the list. This is a bill that comes to us from the Public Health Committee. Senator Bryan is in the room if there are any detailed questions, but I have looked over this bill. It seems rather innocuous, no pun intended, but the Rural Health Center for Rural Health Innovation would be housed within the Department of Health, the Office of Rural Health, and I think the idea here is to look at issues that would benefit our rural health and rural hospitals here in Mississippi. You'll see the definition of what constitutes a rural hospital contained on page 2, starting on lines 23 and down. I don't see that there's any additional funding unless we decide to put some in, but it certainly would help the rural hospitals have a place, if you will, a storehouse to have information and ideas be considered that affect them particularly. Happy to yield for any questions. Senator Turner Ford. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is there anything in this bill that would preclude the Center for Rural Health Innovation from expanding community health centers?
Anything that would preclude, is that your question, preclude the rural health centers from expanding?
Other areas where those facilities are not located. Would this organization have the purview to do that?
Yeah, I'm sorry you're getting that feedback off the mic. No, I don't think there's anything that would preclude that. I don't see anything in here that would preclude it unless they fall outside of the definition of the rural hospital as defined. And of course, if we saw that happening, depending on the circumstances, I suppose we could come back and amend to adjust if we needed to. Thank you, Senator Turner Ford. No other questions? Is there a motion? Oh, thank you, Senator Jackson. The motion is titled sufficient to pass, strike all. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Next is House Bill, let me come back to that one. Next is the Economic Development Highway Act, House Bill 1383. This is a bill that comes to us from the Economic and Workforce Development Committee. There is a reverse repealer in there. This is this program would allow MDA to put money into projects of quote-unquote high economic benefit. These would be projects that would have to be approved from MDA. There's no definite requirement other than them meeting certain standards, which would include a private company investing over $70 million into a project and a public entity investing over $100 million into a single project. This has to be used for roadways. It could not be for any other mode of transportation. No walking tracks, rights-of-ways, even water or sewer. I started to make an amendment. There's one amendment I want to make to this, but since this would have to go back to Economic and Workforce Development, I've talked to Senator Parker, the chairman of that committee. One of my concerns is when you look at what would be included in mixed-use developments, it would be where a retail establishment is only one component of the larger project. As I told him, I think the retail component would have to be a very, very minimal part of it. I don't know what that number is, and I'm happy to discuss that with any members. You can give me ideas now or before we take it up on the floor. Senator Parker has assured me that he wouldn't take this up until we had that discussion. I'm thinking something in the neighborhood of no more than 10 to maybe at the most 25% on a retail aspect of any kind of larger project. It would also say that the private companies would have to make at least a $15 million investment to establish, if they were establishing a regional or national headquarters in Mississippi, their pay of their employees would have to be average salary of 150% of the most recently published average wage of the county in which it's located, and they would have to have over 100 new employees for a 5-year period to even qualify for this Economic Development Highway program. Again, it does have the reverse repealer in it. I think there are components to this I like a whole lot. There are a few things that I think need to be tweaked some as we go through the process, but I didn't really want to tweak it on our last day and have to send it back to Economic and Workforce Development Committee. But I'm happy to take, certainly, I'm not going to inhibit anyone from doing what they want to do here today, but I'm happy to take back any suggestions to Senator Parker and others as may be necessary. Senator Delano.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Exactly which economic development?
It's a new program called the Economic Development Highway Program within MDA. That's what I understand, Senator Delano. Thank you. Questions? Motion is title sufficient, do pass. Strike all. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Next, I will call on Senator Barnett to discuss House Bill 1370. I tell you what, let me call on Senator Doty first because she's got a committee meeting at 2 o'clock. House Bill 1490, which is judicial districts. Senator Doty, you are recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you, Senator Barnett. I appreciate you letting me go ahead of you because I do have a committee meeting at 2. Nice to be right here. So House Bill 1490 would provide, would split the 17th Circuit Court District, and with the elections in November of 2022, would provide for a new judge, for a new 23rd Circuit Court District. We would retain the same number of judges. Yeah, I think that does. I think I'll come over here.
Thank
How about
you,
that?
Michael, and thank you, Senator Doty.
Thank you. So it would provide for a new circuit court district with the those elections to be held in 22. It would create the 23rd Circuit Court District. So the 17th would remain Tate, Panola, Yalobusha, and Tallahatchie counties, and the new 23rd district would include DeSoto County. We all know what growth they've had in DeSoto County. We do judicial redistricting every few years after the census. The deadline for that, I believe, is 2025, and it's the thought that we need to go ahead and take action before that time, but the way the elections fall, that would be in November of 22 for those judicial elections. So really we would maintain the same number of judges. There would be still 4 judges in that area, but split up, and it's my understanding that they're operating in that capacity right now. What it would do is create a new DA for that 23rd district, a new DA's office, and that DA would be that position would be filled through a special election along with the judges in 2022, when ordinarily that would be the next year in 2023 for a DA election. This also creates an additional chancery court judge for the 3rd district, which is DeSoto County. And that is an explanation of the bill. We'll be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, Senator Doty. Any questions? Member Senator Wiggins.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know if you have this information, and it is based on the money, but how was it determined that this place, they should have a new DA and a new judge? Was their data looked at? Was there the cost calculated? Was there a population looked at? Or was it just somebody came up and said, hey, we want to have a new DA for a friend over here, and so we're going to put this in? I understand this is a House bill, not a Senate bill.
Yes, it is a House bill that is over here. There is a significant caseload. I don't have those numbers in front of me at present.
So I need to talk to the House author? Or
I think if you talk to
Judd
the
A.
author of the House
Chairwoman?
bill, they would have those numbers handy.
Okay, thanks.
Other questions? Not. Is there a motion? House Bill 1490. Motion is title sufficient to pass. Strike all. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed nay. The ayes have it. And then finally, Senator Barnett, I will recognize you to explain House Bill 1377.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 1377 is similar to Senate Bill 2123 that we've already passed and also passed the House as well. But this current bill is intended, with the language that it has, is intended to be sent to conference. And what this bill does, similar to Senate Bill 2123 is that it allows a mechanism, like I said earlier, to continue to work on criminal justice reform, especially in increasing parole eligibility for those individuals who have been denied the possibility of parole due to legislation that was passed in 1995. That's basically what this does. It also brings forward code sections, and most of which is Title 47, and also this bill provides or is asking that we increase our transitional beds from 100 to 800. And we know that there are several hundreds of individuals right now who are incarcerated right now that we cannot release back to the general public because they have no address. And this would give them an opportunity to have transitional housing at a lower cost to the state versus what we are paying to keep these individuals incarcerated who should otherwise have been already released. So, Mr. Chairman, that's the gist of this bill, and I'm open to any questions if there is any.
Questions? Questions from the committee? Senator? Motion is title sufficient, do pass, strike all. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Those bills will be reported, and I'll entertain a motion to rise and report at this time. All in favor say aye. Aye. Ayes have it. No.
4:30 reconvene.
Got a couple that aren't here.